Hey, you. Don't pretend you didn't hear me. The voice slices through the soft murmur of the first-class cabin like a blade across silk. Captain Grant Harlow, 46, white, tall, perfectly pressed in a commercial airline uniform that screams authority, stands in the aisle with his hands on his hips, staring down at a single passenger like she's a stain that refuses to come out. "You really think this seat is meant for you?" he says, loud enough for half the cabin to turn. "Because I don't." Ariel Monroe, 34, black, composed, observant, dressed deliberately plain despite the price of the ticket beneath her, looks up slowly. Her eyes don't blink. Her voice is calm, but sharpened. "Is that how you welcome paying passengers?" she asks. "Or just the ones you don't like looking at?" A few people shift uncomfortably. Harlow smiles, the kind of smile that feeds on discomfort. "Oh, don't flatter yourself," he says. "This isn't personal. It's about standards. And some people don't meet them." Ariel tilts her head. "Funny, you walked all the way back here just to say that. Sounds pretty personal." Harlow scoffs. "I've flown this route for 20 years. I know who belongs in first class and who's just trying to act first class." The words land like stones. Phones come up. A woman across the aisle winces. Ariel stands, slow, controlled, forcing him to step back half an inch. "Say it clearly, Captain," she says, her voice suddenly razor-thin. "Because what I'm hearing is a man hiding his prejudice behind a uniform." Harlow laughs, sharp and dismissive. "Prejudice? Please. This is airline policy. You people always want to turn discipline into drama." A murmur ripples through the cabin. Ariel smiles. Not warm, not kind. Surgical. "You people?" she repeats. That's the phrase insecure men use when they're afraid of being exposed. Harlow's jaw tightens. He raises his voice. "This passenger is being disruptive," he announces, "and I will not compromise safety for someone who doesn't understand how things work up here." Ariel steps closer. "No, you won't compromise control. There's a difference, and you know it." For the first time, his eyes flick. Not with anger, but calculation. He points at her bag. "That carry-on wasn't screened properly." "That's a lie," Ariel snaps, "and you're counting on no one questioning you." Harlow leans in, his tone dripping with contempt. "You should have stayed quiet. That's usually when people like you do best." The cabin goes silent. Ariel's breath steadies. When she speaks, it's not loud, but it cuts deeper than shouting ever could. "You know what I see?" she says. "A man who mistakes authority for worth. A man who needs to humiliate someone in public because without a cockpit door, no one listens to him." A man in the second row whispers, "Jesus." Harlow straightens, offended. "You don't get to psychoanalyze me in my aircraft." Ariel doesn't back down. "Then stop psychoanalyzing my existence." He turns to the nearest flight attendant. "We have a passenger refusing to comply." The attendant hesitates. "Captain, she hasn't—" "She has," Harlow cuts in. "She's challenging authority, and that's a safety issue." Ariel laughs once, dry, humorless. "So now words are dangerous?" "They are when they come from the wrong mouth," he fires back. The sting lands, hard. Ariel's eyes narrow. "Congratulations, you just crossed from policy into discrimination." Harlow lowers his voice, venomous. "You don't have the standing to accuse anyone of anything." Ariel steps fully into the aisle, shoulders squared. "I have a valid ticket. I'm seated. I've violated nothing. Those are passenger rights, Captain, unless you only enforce them when they're convenient." He waves a dismissive hand. "Rights don't protect people who don't know their place." Gasps. Someone audibly inhales. Ariel leans closer, her words like knives sliding between ribs. "You must wake up every day terrified that someone will finally look at you and see how small you really are." Harlow's face reddens. "That's enough." No, she says quietly. That's accurate. He snaps loud again. Flight attendants, prepare for passenger removal. Two attendants freeze. One swallows hard. Ariel raises a hand, not in surrender, but command. Before you touch me, ask yourself one question, she says. Are you enforcing policy or performing power? Harlow smirks. I don't answer to you. No, Ariel replies. You answer to cameras, and they're rolling. He glances around, sees the phones, hates them. Turn those off, he orders. No one moves. Ariel's voice drops, deadly calm. You picked the wrong person to make an example of. He steps into her space. You don't know who you're dealing with. Ariel meets his stare. I know exactly who you are. A bully who panics when someone refuses to bow. His smile disappears. He grabs her arm. A ripple of shock moves through the cabin. Don't touch me, Ariel says, her voice iron. You're being removed, Harlow snarls, steering her forward. Ariel doesn't resist. She walks, upright, dignified, making him look worse with every step. A woman whispers, she's not even fighting. A man mutters, this feels wrong. As they near the front, Ariel's eyes catch something. A crew member near the galley, pale, whispering urgently to another. Do it before time X. Ariel's mind locks onto it. Not before departure, not before doors close, a specific time. A clock. Harlow barks, call security! I want her off now! Ariel stops walking. The sudden stillness forces him to stop, too. She turns to him slowly. This isn't about a seat, she says. It's about something you're afraid I'll see if I stay. Harlow scoffs. You think you matter that much? Her eyes bore into him. You wouldn't be shaken if I didn't. For half a second his mask slips. Then he snaps it back on. Get her off my plane. Ariel's phone vibrates once in her pocket. Silent. A message. Confirmed. Moving. She exhales. Good. Security footsteps echo from the jet bridge. Harlow straightens, smug. Last chance to cooperate. Ariel lifts her chin. History doesn't remember men like you kindly. He laughs. History won't remember you at all. She looks past him, at the watching passengers, the cameras, the system grinding in real time. Oh, she says softly. It will. Security appears at the doorway. Harlow points. Remove her before the clock hits X. Ariel's eyes harden. Not with fear, but resolve. And as they reach for her, she realizes something crystal clear. This isn't an accident. This is a plan, and plans can be broken. If you have ever been judged, humiliated, or targeted simply for existing, then what happens next with Ariel will make you feel both furious and empowered. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices to see how the truth dismantles power when the system thinks it's untouchable. Because the moment security steps in, the real players arrive, and the trap finally starts to close. Security doesn't rush. They step into the first-class cabin slowly, deliberately, two uniforms moving like the ending is already written. No questions, no urgency, just procedure. Captain Grant Harlow straightens the moment he sees them, authority snapping back into place like armor. She's the issue, he says, pointing at Ariel without even looking at her. Refusing to comply, creating a disturbance. Ariel stands between the seats, hands open, posture calm. I paid for this seat. I haven't violated anything. One of the guards glances at her, then back at Harlow. Captain, what's the specific violation? Harlow answers instantly. Disorderly conduct. A murmur ripples through the cabin. That's not what disorderly looks like, a man near the window mutters. Harlow ignores him. Call corporate, now. The word corporate lands heavier than security ever could. Within moments, a woman in a tailored blazer steps out from the galley, tablet already in hand. Early 40s, precise movements, eyes trained to scan problems, not people. She doesn't introduce herself. "Captain," she says coolly. "What's happening?" "This passenger challenged authority," Harlow replies. "We need the incident processed immediately." The woman finally looks at Ariel, brief, dismissive, like checking luggage weight. "Ma'am, I represent compliance. We're going to resolve this efficiently." Ariel meets her gaze. Efficiently usually means quietly. I'm not interested in quietly. The woman's smile tightens. Quiet keeps flights on schedule. Another man joins them, headset around his neck, calming voice, practiced empathy. PR. He turns toward the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We're addressing a passenger issue and will resume shortly." Ariel watches him work. Soft reassurance, subtle narrative framing, story control. Then the fourth piece clicks into place. A young flight attendant steps forward, eyes darting. "Captain, I can confirm the passenger was uncooperative." Ariel turns sharply. "That's not true." The attendant flinches and looks instinctively at compliance. Compliance nods once. Seal applied. Ariel exhales slowly. The pack is complete. Harlow gestures toward the tablet. "Read it." Compliance clears her raw throat. "Under airline policy, passengers must follow crew instructions. Failure may result in removal." "You skipped cause," Ariel says. Compliance's smile doesn't move. "Cause has been established." "By you," Ariel replies. 5 minutes ago." PR steps in smoothly. "Ma'am, we're trying to help you avoid escalation." "Escalation?" Ariel asks. "You dragged me out of my seat." PR lowers his voice. "And that's exactly why cooperation matters. Once this gets filed, it follows." That word again. Filed. Compliance turns the tablet toward Ariel. A pre-written report fills the screen. "Unruly passenger refused crew instruction safety risk." Ariel stares at it. "You wrote the verdict before the conversation." Compliance's voice cools. "This is your chance to make it easier on yourself." Harlow folds his arms. "Sign it. Apologize. Take a later flight." "And if I don't?" Ariel asks. Harlow smiles. "Then we make an example." Ariel looks around the cabin, at the faces watching, the phones recording. She looks back at him. "You're enjoying this?" "Someone has to enforce order," Harlow replies. "Order," Ariel says. "Or obedience." PR shifts. "Ma'am, once this report closes, it becomes permanent." Permanent. Ariel's eyes flick back to the tablet, and that's when she sees it. At the bottom of the screen, faint but unmistakable. "Submit and close file." Compliance's finger hovers near it. Ariel's voice sharpens. "Before what?" Harlow stiffens. "Excuse me?" "You were about to say it earlier," Ariel presses. "Before what happens?" Silence snaps tight. Compliance doesn't answer. PR clears his throat. "Captain, perhaps we should—" "Enough," Harlow cuts in. "This passenger is stalling." Ariel smiles faintly. "There's a clock." The flight attendant swallows. Harlow's jaw tightens. "You're imagining things." "Then why are you all rushing?" Ariel says. "Why does that button look like a countdown?" Compliance shifts the tablet slightly. Too late. A thin bar pulses beneath the button. A timer. Ariel turns gently toward the flight attendant. "What happens if I'm still on this plane in 10 minutes? Harlow snaps. "Do not answer that." The attendant's eyes flicker. Panic. Then guilt. PR steps in louder, addressing the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience." "She hasn't done anything," someone says. PR smiles politely. "We have information you don't." Ariel answers calmly. "They're lying." Harlow points at security. "Take her." The guards step closer. Ariel doesn't move. "Before you touch me," she says, "ask yourselves why they're desperate to finish this fast." One guard hesitates. "Captain, we just need clarification." "This is corporate," Compliance says. sharply. If the file closes, it's above your authority. Above your pay grade. That's the second tell. Ariel's phone vibrates once in her pocket. She doesn't look. PR notices her stillness. What are you smiling at? Nothing, Ariel says. Just realizing how scared you all are. Harlow's face reddens. Get her out. Security takes her arm, firm now. She allows it. Not because she's weak, but because she's watching. Compliance taps the tablet. A countdown appears. 5 o'clock, 4:59. Ariel's breathing steadies. So that's it. A timed lock. As they guide her toward the aircraft door, Ariel speaks to the cabin. You're watching how power behaves when it thinks it's safe. Harlow scoffs. You're not important. Ariel meets his eyes. That's what you're betting on. Her phone buzzes again. Twice. Found something. Need inside access. They reach the door. Security pauses. Compliance's finger hovers. 312? 311? Harlow nods. Do it. Compliance presses and freezes. Her phone vibrates. She looks down. Her face drains. Ariel sees it instantly. Problem? Ariel asks. Compliance swallows. Captain, there's an external access request. PR stiffens. Who authorized that? Compliance whispers. I don't know. Ariel smiles. Slow. Dangerous. Tick-tock. Harlow steps forward. Finish it. Compliance shakes her head. The file won't close. Harlow snaps. Why not? Compliance looks up, voice tight with fear. Because someone inside the system just blocked it. The countdown freezes on the tablet. Harlow stares at it, then at Ariel. And for the first time, uncertainty cracks his authority. The countdown doesn't reset. It just sits there, frozen, like a threat that decided to wait. Compliance lowers the tablet slowly, eyes flicking between the timer and Captain Harlow as if she's just discovered gravity can turn off without warning. The cabin feels tighter now, heavier. Everyone senses it. Harlow recovers first. He always does. That's enough, he snaps. Security, step aside. The guards hesitate. One of them looks at the tablet again, then at Ariel. Captain, the file? I'll handle the file, Harlow cuts in. You handle the passenger. Ariel lets them guide her a step back from the door, not resisting, not pleading. Her calm unsettles them more than anger would. Compliance regains her composure and clears her throat. Captain, we need a controlled resolution. Public escalation is undesirable. PR nods, already thinking headlines. We should de-escalate. Harlow exhales sharply, then turns to Ariel with a look that pretends to be generous. Let's make this simple, he says. You don't want trouble. We don't want delay. Ariel meets his eyes. You already created both. He ignores that. Sign the statement. Apologize for your behavior. We'll rebook you quietly. No charges, no record. Compliance slides the tablet toward Ariel again, this time angled, confidential. The language has changed. Voluntary statement misunderstanding no further action required. Poison, sweetened. Ariel reads it carefully. Then she looks up. You want me to confess to something I didn't do. PR steps closer, voice low and reassuring. Not confess. Clarify. People misunderstand things all the time. People don't, Ariel says. Systems do. Harlow's patience thins. You're not in a position to lecture. Ariel gestures toward the frozen timer. Funny. Looks like I am. A flicker of irritation crosses Compliance's face. That access block is temporary. Everything is temporary, Ariel replies, including your leverage. Compliance stiffens. You don't know what you're risking. Ariel's voice drops. Neither do you. PR leans in closer, dropping the friendly mask just enough to show teeth. Listen carefully. Once this file closes, your name gets flagged. Future flights, background checks, employment screens. It won't matter whether you were right. Ariel nods slowly. So that's the threat. Harlow smiles. That's reality. A woman in the first row whispers to her seatmate, "This feels wrong." PR shoots her a look that says, "Mind your business." Harlow turns back to Ariel. "Sign it, or we escalate." Ariel's gaze hardens. "You keep using that word like you're not already at the top." Compliance checks her phone. Quick, subtle. Whatever she sees doesn't comfort her. Ariel notices. "Someone important asking questions?" Ariel asks lightly. Compliance pockets the phone. "This is your final opportunity." "Final before what?" Ariel presses. Harlow snaps. "Stop fishing." Ariel tilts her head. "Fishing? Number. I'm confirming. You're all terrified of the same thing." Silence. PR breaks it. "Captain, we need to close this." "Not yet," Harlow mutters. Then, louder. "We're going to do this my way." He steps closer to Ariel, lowering his voice so only she can hear. "You think you're clever," he says, "but clever people don't survive by making enemies." Ariel looks him dead in the eye. "You're not my enemy. You're a symptom." His smile fades. Compliance interjects. "Captain, with respect, dragging this out increases exposure." Harlow turns on her. "Are you questioning my command?" Compliance stiffens. "I'm protecting the company." Ariel catches that word. Company. Interesting. Harlow gestures sharply to security. "Step back." They do, reluctantly. Harlow straightens his uniform and faces the cabin, switching tone mid-breath. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, "this passenger has been offered a peaceful resolution and refused." Ariel cuts in. "Because it's a lie." Murmurs ripple. Harlow ignores her. "We are now escalating." The word lands like a gavel. Compliance's phone vibrates again. She checks it, and this time she can't hide the reaction. Her eyes widen. Just a fraction. PR notices. "What is it?" Compliance hesitates. "We have an internal inquiry ping." Harlow's head snaps toward her. "From who?" Compliance swallows. "Unclear, but it's flagged as priority." Ariel smiles faintly. "That would be the outside door you forgot to lock." Harlow steps toward her, furious. "You don't get to threaten us." "I'm not," Ariel says calmly. "I'm informing you." PR interjects quickly. "Captain, perhaps we should pause." "No," Harlow snaps. "I'm done pausing." He turns back to Ariel, voice dripping with disdain. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign that statement, walk off this plane quietly, and disappear." "And if I don't?" Ariel asks. Harlow leans in. "Then you leave in handcuffs." The guards shift. Ariel looks at them, not challenging, just observant. "You're about to be used." One guard swallows. "Ma'am," Harlow barks, "now!" Compliance raises a hand. "Captain, if law enforcement gets involved, this becomes public." Harlow doesn't blink. It already is. PR winces. "That's not ideal." Ariel exhales, slow and steady. "You're panicking." Harlow laughs, harsh. "You wish." Ariel gestures toward Compliance. She's sweating. He's spinning. And you keep cutting people off before they finish sentences. She looks back at Harlow. "That's not confidence. That's fear." The cabin holds its breath. Harlow steps back, regaining volume. "Security, restrain the passenger." The guards move, this time with certainty. Cold metal clicks around Ariel's wrists. AEC. Gasp ripples through the cabin. Ariel doesn't resist. She lifts her chin, voice ringing clear. "Let the record show," she says. "I'm being restrained without cause." PR rushes forward. "Please, everyone, stop recording." No one does. Compliance stares at the cuffs, then at the frozen timer, then at her phone. Buzzing again. Harlow notices. "What now?" Compliance's voice shakes despite herself. "The access block is spreading." PR stiffens. "What do you mean, spreading?" Compliance whispers. Multiple internal nodes are locked. Ariel smiles, not triumphant, focused. You waited too long. Harlow points at her. You did this. Ariel shakes her head. No, I anticipated you. The guards start escorting her off the plane. As they move, Ariel leans slightly toward Compliance. You should think about which side you want to be on when this breaks. Compliance meets her eyes, fear wrestling with self-preservation. Harlow snarls, Don't listen to her. Ariel's voice is calm, measured. You're all being set up to take the fall for something much bigger. PR scoffs. This is intimidation. No, Ariel says. This is math. They reach the jet bridge. The guards pause, awaiting confirmation. Compliance looks at the tablet again. The timer flickers. 2:04, 2:03, then, without warning, it disappears. Compliance's breath catches. The system just... PR snaps. Did it close? Compliance shakes her head. No. Harlow's voice rises. Then what happened? Compliance looks up slowly. The file didn't close. A beat. It was overridden. Harlow freezes. By who? He demands. Compliance swallows hard. By someone with higher authority than mine. Ariel meets Harlow's stare, wrists cuffed, posture unbroken. I told you, she says, quietly. Plans break. Harlow's face darkens. You think this saves you? Ariel's eyes sharpen. I think it changes everything. The guards hesitate again. Compliance whispers, Captain, we may need to reassess. Harlow's jaw tightens as he realizes something he's been avoiding. This isn't just a passenger. This is a problem that doesn't scare easily, and it isn't done. The guards stop moving. Compliance looks at Harlow and says the words he feared most. Captain, we can't proceed until we understand who just stepped into our system. The jet bridge hums with the sound of paused momentum. No one moves. Not the guards holding Ariel, not Compliance with her tablet frozen mid-air, not PR, whose smile has slipped into something tight and brittle. Captain Harlow breaks first. This is a stall, he snaps. Nothing more. We proceed. Compliance doesn't look at him. Her eyes are locked on the tablet like it might bite. Captain, the override didn't come from outside. Harlow stiffens. What does that mean? It means, she says carefully, someone inside the company just stepped in, with authority above mine. Ariel's cuffs bite into her wrists as a guard tightens reflexively. She doesn't flinch. Pain is information. She catalogs it and looks past it. PR leans in, voice low. Can we isolate it? Compliance shakes her head. Not without triggering an audit. The word lands heavy. Audit. Harlow exhales sharply, recalibrating. Fine. Then we reset the environment. He turns to the guards. Bring her back on board. Ariel is marched back into the aircraft, through the steering aisle, past the phones, back into the first-class cabin like a prisoner returned to a courtroom. The doors remain open, the engines idle. The cabin clock ticks louder than before. Compliance taps her tablet. The countdown reappears, smaller now, uglier. 1:59, 1:58. Ariel's chest tightens. Not with fear, but clarity. So that's the trap. Harlow points at the timer. That window closes in 2 minutes, he says to no one and everyone. When it does, this incident finalizes across systems. PR nods. And once it finalizes, it's immutable. Ariel speaks softly. You're lying. Compliance hesitates. Just enough. Harlow's eyes snap to her. You don't get to speak. Ariel lifts her cuffed hand slightly. You're scared because you don't know who froze your file. That means you don't know what else they can see. PR steps in, measured. Ma'am, this is not the time. No, Ariel cuts in. This is exactly the time. She turns to the cabin. You're watching a system try to bury a mistake before the clock runs out. A murmur ripples. Someone whispers, What clock? Harlow raises his voice. This passenger is attempting to manipulate the situation. Compliance clears her throat. Captain, we need to narrow options. Options? Harlow scoffs. There are none. The file closes. She leaves. Ariel shakes her head slowly. That file isn't about me. Silence snaps. PR blinks. What? Ariel looks straight at Compliance. You didn't build that timer for passengers. You built it to protect something else. Compliance's lips part, then press together. Harlow steps closer, voice sharp. Enough riddles. Ariel meets his gaze. You're not rushing because I'm dangerous. You're rushing because I'm inconvenient. PR tries to regain control. Captain, perhaps we should relocate this conversation. No, Harlow snaps. We finish this now. The countdown bleeds. 121, 120. Ariel's phone vibrates. Silent. Insistent. She can't check it. She doesn't need to. She knows the shape of what's happening. Ariel turns to Compliance. When that file closes, what else closes with it? Compliance doesn't answer. PR answers for her. That's proprietary. Ariel nods. So is corruption. Harlow laughs, harsh. You're reaching. Ariel steps forward as far as the cuffs allow. No, I'm triangulating. She gestures with her chin toward the cockpit. You moved too fast. You overplayed control. And now you're trapped by your own timeline. Compliance's voice wavers. Captain, if the override expands, it could freeze other departments. Harlow rounds on her. You said this was contained. It was, Compliance replies, before she arrived. Ariel smiles faintly. I didn't arrive. I boarded. The distinction lands. PR looks between them. Captain, the optics... Harlow slams his hand into a seatback. I don't care about optics. The cabin jolts. Phones rise higher. Ariel speaks calmly into the tension. You should. She looks at a passenger filming. Because once this goes public, people won't ask what I did. They'll ask what you were hiding. Harlow points at her. You think this makes you powerful? Ariel shakes her head. No, I think it makes you exposed. Compliance's tablet pings, louder this time. She looks down, color draining from her face. PR leans in. What is it? Compliance swallows. Another node just locked. Harlow's breath catches. How many? Compliance whispers. 3. Ariel closes her eyes for half a second. Good. The pressure is spreading. Harlow snaps back into command mode. Security! Escort her off. Now. The guards hesitate again. Captain, with the system unstable. Now. They grip Ariel's arms and start moving. Ariel doesn't resist. She speaks, not to them, but past them. You're about to be the ones left holding the report when this collapses. One guard falters. Ma'am. Keep moving, Harlow barks. They reach the aisle midpoint when Compliance shouts, Stop! Everyone freezes. Compliance stares at her tablet. The clock just shifted. PR rushes to look. Shifted how? Compliance turns the screen toward them. The timer hasn't stopped. It's changed direction. 2:10, 2:11. The cabin exhales in shock. Ariel's eyes sharpen. Someone reset the window. Harlow's voice cracks. That's not possible. Compliance whispers, unless the authority above us took control. PR's calm fractures. Who has that authority? Compliance looks at Ariel just for a second too long. Harlow notices. He steps into Ariel's space, furious. Who are you? Ariel meets his stare, unwavering. Someone who doesn't need to rush. Harlow laughs, brittle. You're in cuffs. Yes, Ariel replies, and you're running out of time. The countdown continues, upward now, like a threat reversed. 2:23, 2:24. PR rubs his face. Captain, if this becomes a wider lock, leadership gets notified. Harlow snarls. Leadership is already notified. That slips out too fast. Ariel's head tilts. So they know. Harlow says nothing. Compliance whispers, Captain, we can't close this anymore. Harlow's eyes blaze. Then we isolate her, silence her, delay until we regain control. Ariel shakes her head. You don't understand. Harlow snaps. Explain it then. Ariel's voice drops, quiet, precise. The moment you tried to bury this with a clock, you admitted there was something worth burying. PR swallows. Captain, Ariel continues, now the system is asking questions faster than you can answer. The guards loosen slightly, not out of mercy, but uncertainty. Compliance's tablet pings again. She reads, then looks up slowly. Captain, she says, voice trembling, there's a request for full incident transparency. Harlow's face drains. From who? Compliance answers, barely audible. From the board channel. The cabin goes still. Ariel exhales. That's the door she needed. Harlow looks at her like he's seeing her for the first time, not as a passenger, not as a problem, but as a force he underestimated. This isn't over, he snarls. Ariel meets his gaze. It just started. The countdown continues climbing. The trap has sprung, and now everyone inside it knows. Compliance looks at the guards and says quietly but clearly, Stand down until further notice. Harlow spins toward her. You can't do that. Compliance doesn't blink. I just did. The moment Compliance says stand down, the air changes. Not relief, predation. Captain Harlow doesn't shout. He doesn't argue. He smiles. It's the smile of a man who just decided to burn the room down rather than lose it. Of course, he says smoothly. Stand down. The guards loosen their grip a fraction. Ariel feels it immediately. Uncertainty creeping into their hands. Power doesn't vanish all at once. It leaks. Harlow turns to PR. A single look, a nod. The hunt begins. PR pivots toward the cabin, voice warm and authoritative. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Due to an unexpected systems issue, we need to clear the aircraft briefly. What? A passenger protests. Why? For your safety, PR says gently. Please remain seated. Ariel sees it instantly. Isolation. Control the witnesses. Reset the narrative. Compliance stiffens. Captain, you can't clear! Harlow cuts her off. This is operational, not legal. That's the first betrayal. Compliance realizes it at the same moment Ariel does. The pack is turning on itself. Harlow steps closer to Ariel, lowering his voice. You wanted time, he says. I'm going to give it to you. Ariel meets his gaze. Time cuts both ways. Harlow's smile widens. We'll see. PR gestures to a flight. Attendant, different from the earlier witness. Older, confident. Take her belongings to the galley, he says, nodding toward Ariel's bag. Ariel snaps, You don't touch my property. PR doesn't look at her. Routine. The attendant hesitates, then reaches for the bag. Ariel feels the danger spike. Stop. Harlow steps in fast. She's interfering with crew duties. There it is. The frame. Security shifts again. This time toward Ariel. Compliance raises her voice. Captain, if you proceed without authorization, Harlow whirls. Authorization came from me. PR adds, and I'm documenting non-compliance. Ariel's phone vibrates. 3 short pulses. Urgent. She can't check it. PR notices. What's she doing with her hands? She's tampering, Harlow says instantly. Ariel laughs once, incredulous. You're really going with that? Harlow snaps his fingers. Search her? The words hit the cabin. Like a gunshot. That's illegal, someone says. Airline policy, Harlow replies, loud and confident. Security exception. Compliance pales. Captain, no. Too late. Security steps in. Ariel raises her cuffed hands. You don't have cause. Harlow's voice sharpens. I have suspicion. PR leans in to the nearest guard. She's been accessing systems. Ariel's breath slows. This is the near-ruin moment. If they find something, anything, she becomes the criminal. The guards move to pat her down. Ariel locks eyes with one of them, a black man, mid-30s. She doesn't plead. She doesn't argue. She says quietly, "They're setting you up to take the blame." His hand pauses. Harlow notices. "Do your job." The guard hesitates, then continues, but carefully. No plant yet. Harlow shifts tactics. "Fine," he snaps. "If she wants attention, give it to her." He turns to the cabin. This passenger is suspected of attempting unauthorized access to airline systems. Gasps. Phones surge. PR nods, already typing. Ariel feels the narrative flipping, fast. "That's a lie," she says loudly. "You're doing this because you're losing control." Harlow steps closer, voice dripping with contempt. "You lost control the moment you stepped on my aircraft." Ariel meets his stare. "No, you lost control when you realized I wasn't afraid of you." Compliance tries again. "Captain, this will trigger—" Harlow cuts her off without looking. "I'm counting on it." That's the second betrayal. He wants chaos. PR whispers urgently to a flight attendant, the original witness. Her face drains. She shakes her head. "I already—" PR leans closer. "If you don't help us now, you're finished." Fear wins. The witness steps forward, voice shaking but loud enough to record. She asked me how to bypass internal security." The lie hangs in the air. Ariel stares at her. "Why are you doing this?" The witness won't meet her eyes. Harlow claps once. "There it is." Compliance looks horrified. "That's perjury." Harlow shrugs. "It's testimony." PR turns to security. "You have probable cause now." The guard tightens his grip. Ariel feels the floor tilt. This is it. The frame locking in. Her phone vibrates again. Longer this time. "Insider ready. Need green light." Ariel closes her eyes for half a second. Now or never. She opens them and speaks. Not to Harlow, not to compliance, but to the cabin. "You're watching a lie being built in real time," she says. "And once it's finished, it won't just destroy me. It'll protect something much worse." Harlow laughs. "Still playing hero?" Ariel turns to compliance. "You know this is wrong." Compliance swallows. PR snaps. "Stay in your lane." Ariel presses. "You already crossed yours." Compliance looks at the tablet. The board channel is still open, unanswered. Her phone vibrates too. She makes a decision. "Captain," Compliance says carefully, "I need to verify the witness statement." Harlow's eyes narrow. "You're delaying again." Compliance holds his gaze. "I'm protecting myself." There it is. The third betrayal. PR stiffens. "You don't get to flip now." Compliance replies quietly. "Watch me." She turns to the witness. "Repeat what you said. Exactly." The witness stammers. She asked." Ariel interrupts gently. "Which system?" The witness freezes. Harlow snaps. "Objection." Compliance ignores him. "Answer the question." The witness breaks. I don't know." The cabin erupts in murmurs. PR swears under his breath. Ariel's voice is calm, almost kind. "You were scared. They used that." The witness collapses into tears. Harlow explodes. "Enough. Security. Remove." Her immediately. The guards move again, decisive this time. Compliance shouts, "Stop!" Everyone freezes. Compliance's tablet lights up, bright, unmistakable. Final piece received. Internal log verified. Compliance's breath catches. "Oh my God!" PR lunges. "What is that?" Compliance pulls the tablet back. "An operational log, time-stamped, linked to the staged removals." Harlow's face goes pale. "That's impossible." Ariel exhales, steady. "You hunted me instead of sealing your hole." Harlow snarls. "She's lying." Compliance looks at him. Really looks at him. For the first time. No, she says quietly. You are. The guards loosen their grip again. PR backs away a step. Harlow realizes the truth too late. He gambled on fear, and fear just switched sides. Compliance looks at Ariel, voice shaking. If this log goes public, it doesn't just implicate you, Captain. Harlow whispers, don't. Compliance finishes the sentence. It collapses the entire operation. Ariel meets Harlow's eyes. Your move. The log changes everything. For a breath, just one, the aircraft feels lighter, like gravity blinked. Compliance stares at the tablet, knuckles white. This isn't rumor, she says. It's a verified operational log, time-stamped, cross-linked. PR's mouth opens, then closes. He looks around the cabin, at the phones, the faces, the silence. We should pause, he says. We should slow this down. Captain Harlow doesn't slow. He lunges for the tablet. Compliance jerks it back. Do not touch me. Security steps in instinctively, between Harlow and Compliance. Ariel watches the balance tip. She doesn't smile. She counts. Harlow lifts his hands, palms open, performing restraint. Everyone take a breath, he says, voice suddenly reasonable. We don't need to escalate. A few passengers laugh. Short, bitter sounds. Ariel speaks, calm and clear. You staged removals to distract from internal sabotage. You used policy as cover and fear as fuel. Compliance nods, almost involuntarily. That's what the log suggests. The cabin erupts in murmurs. Phones tilt higher. Someone whispers, Did she just say sabotage? PR pivots fast, damage control instincts firing. Let's be precise, he says. This log indicates irregular activity. It doesn't prove intent. Ariel meets his eyes. Then open the rest. Compliance scrolls. Her face tightens. There's more. A ripple runs through the cabin. Harlow's jaw clenches. This is confidential material. Compliance answers without looking up. Not anymore. Ariel exhales slowly. False victory settles in her chest. Not triumph, but alignment. The system is leaning her way. She feels it. She turns to the cabin. This is what happens when power mistakes silence for consent. Applause breaks out. Hesitant at first, then louder. Harlow stiffens. PR flinches. Security loosens Ariel's cuffs. The metal clicks open. Ariel rubs her wrists once. No show, then lifts her chin. Compliance clears her throat. Captain, pending review, you're relieved from direct command of this incident. Gasps. Harlow laughs, short, disbelieving. You can't do that. Compliance finally looks at him. I just did. A guard steps half a pace toward Harlow, not to arrest him yet, but to limit him. The cabin senses it. The power shift, the win. Ariel feels it too. She speaks, measured. End the charade. Let the passengers disembark. Preserve the evidence. PR nods quickly. Yes, that's prudent. Harlow's eyes flick. Left, right, calculating. Then he nods. Fine, he says. Let's be prudent. He turns to the lead attendant. Begin deplaning. The attendant moves. For 10 seconds, everything works. Then Harlow plays his last card. Before we do, he says loudly, there's something the passengers deserve to see. PR spins. Captain, Harlow keeps going. Because transparency goes both ways. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a phone. Ariel's pulse spikes. Harlow taps the screen. This was sent to me an hour ago. Security footage. Compliance steps forward. What footage? Harlow smiles, thin, triumphant. The footage that shows who she really is. He turns the phone outward. The cabin screens, seat backs, a nearby monitor, light up as the clip casts wirelessly. A video fills the cabin. Ariel, on a different day, different setting, speaking sharply to a uniformed employee. The angle is tight, the audio selective. Her words, edited, sound aggressive. A gasp runs through the cabin. PR's face drains. Captain, where did you get that? Harlow doesn't answer. He watches the cabin instead. The clip ends on Ariel's face mid-sentence, frozen, like a mugshot. Harlow raises his voice. This passenger has a history. Confrontational, abusive. She knows how to provoke. The room tilts. Ariel feels it, the momentum tearing away. That's edited, she says. PR seizes the opening. Captain, you should have disclosed it's relevant, Harlow snaps. And there's more. He swipes again. A document flashes onto the screen, an official-looking memo with Ariel's name. Security concern, identity flag compliance blinks. That's not... Harlow talks over her. This individual is under review for misrepresentation. The word hits like a hammer. Passengers whisper. Phones wobble. Ariel's chest tightens, not with fear, but with fury. This is the backfire. Harlow steps forward, voice ringing. You all thought you were watching an injustice. What you're watching is a con. PR leans into the wave. If there's an identity issue, that changes jurisdiction. Compliance's hands shake. Captain, I need to verify. Harlow slams his hand down. Verify later. Secure now. Security hesitates, then looks to compliance. PR pushes. We can't risk a breach. A guard reaches for Ariel's arm again. The cabin's mood flips. Confusion replacing certainty. Ariel raises her voice. This is a frame. Harlow laughs. Convenient. A woman in the aisle whispers, Is it true? Ariel meets her eyes. No. PR lifts his hands. We need calm. Harlow turns to the guards. Restrain her again. The cuffs click shut, harder this time. Ariel inhales, slow. Count. Don't react. Compliance scrolls furiously. Captain, the memo, this header? Harlow cuts her off. Later. PR steps closer to Ariel, voice low. You should have taken the deal. Ariel looks at him. You should have checked your sources. PR smiles thinly. We did. Harlow faces the cabin, commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the confusion. This individual will be removed pending investigation. Boos mix with silence. Ariel feels the false victory crumble completely. Harlow leans in, whispering for her alone. You thought you won. You showed your hand, Ariel whispers back. You showed yours too. He scoffs. You're done. Security starts moving her toward the door again. Compliance's phone vibrates. Once, sharp. She glances down. Her eyes widen. Harlow notices. What now? Compliance looks up slowly. The video source? It didn't come from our archive. PR stiffens. What? Compliance swallows. It was injected. Harlow snaps. Meaning? Compliance's voice shakes. Meaning someone planted it. The guards pause. PR barks. That's speculation. Compliance looks at Ariel, then at the tablet, then at PR. No, it's provenance. The metadata doesn't match. Harlow's face tightens. Finish the removal. Compliance steps forward, louder now. Captain, stop. Harlow rounds on her. You're out of your depth. Compliance meets his stare. I'm in my job. Ariel is inches from the door now. The jet bridge yawns open. Harlow makes his move. Call law enforcement, he orders. Now. PR nods. Already dialing. Sirens, distant, imagined, fill the silence. Ariel closes her eyes for half a second. Hold. Her phone buzzes. 3 short pulses. She opens her eyes. Captain, Compliance says suddenly, there's a live request on the board channel. Harlow snaps, ignore it. Compliance doesn't. She reads. Her breath catches. PR leans in. What does it say? Compliance looks at Ariel, then at Harlow. It says, she begins, stand down. Preserve all materials. Do not remove the passenger. Harlow laughs, sharp. From who? Compliance swallows. From the interim chair. The cabin freezes. Ariel feels the ground steady, just barely. Harlow stares at her, rage simmering. This doesn't prove anything. Ariel meets his gaze, cuffs tight, voice calm. It proves you panicked. PR whispers, Captain? Harlow raises a hand. Not yet. He steps closer to Ariel, eyes burning. You think this saves you? Ariel answers softly. No, it sets the stage. The guards stop. The door remains open. The false victory is gone. But the real war has just begun. Compliance lifts the tablet so everyone can see. A new message blinks at the top. Identity verification pending. Do not proceed. Harlow stares at Ariel, teeth clenched. Who? He demands. Are you? Ariel doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. Silence presses in like a held breath. The words on Compliance's tablet glow brighter than the cabin lights. Identity verification pending. Do not proceed. Captain Harlow stares at it, as if willing it to blink away. It doesn't. Who? He says again, slower now. Are you? Ariel doesn't answer. Not yet. PR clears his throat, trying to sound steady. Captain, let's not jump to conclusions. Harlow snaps his head toward him. You were certain. PR swallows. Based on what we had. Compliance lowers the tablet just enough to meet Ariel's eyes. The verification request didn't come from security, she says quietly. Or legal. Then from where? Harlow demands. Compliance hesitates, then speaks. From ownership-level access. The cabin erupts. A man laughs nervously. Ownership? A woman whispers. What does that mean? Harlow scoffs. That's impossible. Ariel lifts her cuffed hand slightly, the metal catching the light. Is it? PR shakes his head. This is a stunt. Compliance looks down again. Her tablet pings, sharp, insistent. She scrolls. Color drains from her face. There's a second packet, she says. It's comprehensive. Harlow steps forward. Do not read that. Compliance doesn't look up. I have to. She turns the screen outward. Names, timestamps, a web of movements, staged removals coinciding with maintenance delays, rerouted funds, pressure applied at just the right moments to create chaos while profits quietly moved elsewhere. Ariel speaks into the shock. You created distractions to hide sabotage. PR raises a hand. Allegedly. Compliance shakes her head. No. Corroborated. The cabin hums. Anger. Disbelief. The sound of a story snapping into focus. Harlow's voice rises. You're letting a passenger hijack? Stop, Compliance says, firmer now. This isn't her data. Harlow turns to Ariel, eyes blazing. You planned this. Ariel finally answers him. I prepared for you. The guards shift, uncertain. The cuffs feel suddenly performative. PR tries to recover. Captain, even if this access is real, it doesn't. Compliance interrupts. It does. She taps the tablet again. A new panel opens. Beneficial ownership trace. A chain that ends in a single name. The cabin leans forward. Compliance reads it aloud, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Effective as of last week, controlling interest transferred. She looks up at Ariel. Harlow laughs, brittle. You expect us to believe? Ariel steps forward as far as the cuffs allow. Believe what you want. Compliance finishes the line. To Ariel Monroe. The room detonates, shouts, gasps. Someone swears. Phones surge higher. Harlow stumbles back half a step. That's a lie. Compliance checks again, because she has to. It's verified. PR backs away, palms open. Captain, Harlow rounds on him. You said this couldn't happen. PR's voice cracks. I said it was unlikely. Ariel meets Harlow's stare. You never checked who I was, she says. You checked who you wanted me to be. Harlow shakes his head. No. This is some shell. Compliance interrupts. The verification includes board authorization, escrow confirmation, and executive attestation. Harlow's mouth opens. No sound comes out. Ariel turns to the cabin. I boarded quietly because I wanted to see how power behaves when it thinks no one important is watching. A murmur ripples, recognition settling into anger. You made your choice fast, Ariel continues. You humiliated first. You asked questions later. Harlow snaps back to volume. Security! Remove her cuffs! The guards hesitate, then look to Compliance. Compliance doesn't move. Stand down! Harlow explodes. She's manipulating you! Compliance meets his eyes. You did that yourself. She nods to the guards. They unlock the cuffs. The metal falls away, loud in the silence. Ariel rubs. Her wrists once, then straightens. PR whispers, Captain, we need counsel. Harlow ignores him, voice ragged. This doesn't erase what she did. Ariel steps closer. What I did was board a plane. Harlow points at the screens. You disrupted operations. Ariel shakes her head. You did, by turning policy into a weapon. Compliance scrolls again. There's more. Harlow groans. Of course there is. Compliance reads. The staged removals align with internal directives issued under your command. PR looks at Harlow. You said operations signed off. Harlow snarls. They did. Compliance lifts the tablet. No, you routed around them. The pack fractures in real time. PR takes a step back. Captain, I need to protect myself. Harlow whirls. You're abandoning me? PR's voice is small. You didn't tell me everything. Compliance looks at the flight attendant who lied earlier. And you. Witness sobs. They told me I'd lose my job. Ariel speaks gently. Fear is expensive. Harlow lunges forward, rage breaking through. You think this makes you righteous? Ariel meets him calmly. It makes me responsible. Compliance receives another ping. She reads it, and then looks up, almost relieved. The board is on the line, she says. Live. Harlow laughs, high, cracked. Let me talk to them. Compliance shakes her head. They asked for her. She hands the tablet to Ariel. Ariel takes it, not triumphantly, but deliberately. She speaks into the device, voice steady. You saw what happened. A muffled voice replies. We did. Ariel nods once. Begin preservation. Full transparency. The reply is immediate. Already in motion. Harlow shouts. This is a coup. Ariel looks at him. No, it's accountability. The guard steps subtly between Harlow and Ariel now, not restraining, but protecting. Compliance turns to Harlow. Captain Grant Harlow, you're relieved of duty pending investigation. Harlow's eyes dart around the cabin, at the guards, the passengers, the cameras. This isn't over, he says, hollow. Ariel answers quietly. For the system you abused, it is. PR raises his hands. I'll cooperate. Compliance nods. Good choice. The cabin breaks into applause, angry, cathartic, earned. Ariel turns to the passengers. I'm sorry you were used as a stage, she says. We'll make this right. A man calls out, So you're the owner? Ariel pauses. I am. Another voice. Then what happens to him? Ariel looks at Harlow, not with satisfaction, but with gravity. The process he trusted. Harlow sinks into a seat, deflated. Compliance speaks to the guards. Escort the captain off the aircraft. As Harlow is led away, he looks back at Ariel one last time. You planned this. Ariel meets his eyes. I trusted you to reveal yourself. The door closes behind him. The cabin exhales. Compliance turns to Ariel. What are your instructions? Ariel looks around, at the faces, the phones, the moment. Open everything, she says, and protect the people who told the truth. Compliance nods. The system, exposed, rattled, begins to collapse inward, taking the lies with it. The tablet pings one final time. Compliance looks at Ariel. There's a public statement queued. Ariel nods. Release it. Compliance hesitates. It names names. Ariel's gaze hardens. Good. The cabin goes quiet as the truth prepares to go live. The cabin doesn't erupt. It exhales. After the captain is escorted away, the aircraft feels stripped of its theater. No raised voices, no forced smiles, just truth. Sitting in the aisle where power used to stand, compliance steadies herself. We're initiating full preservation, she says, louder than necessary. Every log, every clip, every directive. Ariel nods once. Good. Transparency isn't a threat. It's a repair tool. PR, smaller now, careful, clears his throat. The public statement is ready. We'll need coordinated reputation management. Ariel meets his eyes. Not spin, accountability. The tablet lights up. Headlines cue themselves without embellishment. Names are named. Timelines align. The cover-up collapses the moment it's forced into daylight. Security returns, not to restrain, but to assist. Passengers are offered water, apologies, space to breathe. Cameras keep rolling. This time, nobody tries to stop them. Ariel turns to the cabin. I won't ask you to forget what happened, she says. I'll ask you to watch what happens next. Compliance reads from the screen. The board has authorized an immediate executive apology. Public, on record, no qualifiers. Ariel nods. And a settlement agreement for those harmed. No gag clauses, no quiet money. A murmur of approval ripples. PR swallows. Brand? Accountability, Ariel finishes. Not brand protection. Brand accountability means we fix the mechanisms that made this possible. Compliance scrolls. Independent oversight. Passenger rights reinforcement. Incident reporting without countdowns or auto-close locks. Ariel adds, and protections for staff who tell the truth. The witness, eyes red, shoulders shaking, looks up. I'm sorry. Ariel meets her gently. Fear makes good people do bad things. Courage helps them stop. The jet bridge opens, not to remove anyone, but to reset the moment. Passengers are invited to deplane or stay. Many stay. They want to see it finished. Compliance steps aside. They're asking for your final instruction. Ariel looks at the empty cockpit door, then back to the cabin. Open the flight with dignity, or ground it until dignity is restored. The decision is made. The plane doesn't move yet, and that, somehow, feels like progress. As the statement goes live, Ariel's phone hums with confirmations. Not applause, commitments. She turns one last time to the people who watched it all unfold. What happened here wasn't about a seat, she says. It was about whether power answers to people or people answer to power. Silence, then applause. Not loud, not wild, earned. The doors closed gently this time. Ariel's strength was never volume. It was discipline. She didn't win by shouting louder than a system designed to shout people down. She won by understanding leverage, how timelines, paperwork, fear, and silence become weapons when nobody is watching. Her flaw was trusting procedure a moment too long. Her growth came when she realized procedure only works if someone is brave enough to hold it accountable. The antagonist didn't fail because he was overtly cruel. He failed because he believed power meant immunity. His fear wasn't exposure alone. It was irrelevance. He needed humiliation to feel tall. When confronted with calm resistance, he panicked. And panic always leaves fingerprints. This story isn't about airlines. It's about everyday systems, workplaces, schools, offices, institutions, where authority can slide into abuse when people stop asking questions. Change doesn't start with outrage. It starts with attention. With noticing the countdowns, the just sign this, the rush to close files before the truth has time to breathe. If you've ever been told to stay quiet for your own good, remember this. Silence helps systems stay sick. Truth, handled with discipline, helps them heal. In daily life, dignity shows up in small moments, refusing to accept a lie because it's convenient, protecting someone who's being cornered, choosing courage over comfort when the room wants compliance. You don't need a title to practice accountability. You need resolve. Ariel didn't reveal who she was to win. She revealed who they were, and that changed everything. If this story resonated, if you've ever felt dismissed, rushed, or humiliated by power, stay with us. Subscribe to Dignity Voices for stories that confront injustice, restore humanity, and remind us that courage, quiet, steady courage, can still break broken systems. Because dignity isn't given, it's defended.